so little to choose between any of the nations left in these championships. Portugal have to be regarded as potential winners, especially if they can solve the problem of scoring goals. Their lineup's unchanged from the 11 who got them here with victory over Croatia in their final group game. And Portugal are confident of emulating their achievement of 12 years ago when they reached the semi-finals. The Czech Republic are the surprise package of the quarter-finals, and even their coach has said he'd be surprised if they go any further than this. They have a poor defensive record, 6 goals conceded in 3 games so far, but they showed against Russia that they can score goals themselves, and the substitute who got the winner in that game, Vladimir Šmicer, is rewarded with a place in the starting lineup. Referee Helmut Krupp from Germany will have a vital part to play. Both teams have no fewer than 5 players carrying a caution. Czechs get the game underway then, all in white. Portugal in their first strip of red shirts and green shorts. And fleetingly in these championships, Portugal have produced, I think, some of the best football we've seen. And I must say, a semi-final against the French could be a classic. However, as Italy and Russia have already discovered, you can't afford to dismiss the threat from the Czech Republic lightly. Good-sized crowd here at Villa Park, despite some pessimistic forecasts, and clearly Portugal have most of the support. The typical sort of inter-passing football we've come to expect from Portugal, and the typical sort of uncompromising challenge there has earned, in fact, probably the quickest yellow card, I think, of the championship so far. Sukoparek going in from the back, and a yellow card within the first 40-odd seconds. In fact, I think something similar happened in yesterday's game at Wembley. Sukoparek is also one of those players who was on the yellow card, and therefore, if they get through, he would miss the semi-final. Pinto with an early cross to test the Czech defence. Pinto and João Pinto, a lively front two for Portugal, who posed a lot of problems. And Ian, a lively start.
Certainly a lively start, and it's a pity that the foul went in as quickly as it did, Alan, but I think that gives an indication of you know, what this game means at this particular stage to the teams involved, and you know, you get a bit of rush of blood early on.
Secretario keeping his place in Portugal's lineup ahead of the normal first-choice right-back, Paulo Santos, who missed the previous game because of suspension. Dimash on the left, touched on for Paulo Sousa. The most experienced man in the Portuguese team, Luciano. He's continued his run. João Pinto tried to release him, and then that challenge earns a free kick for the Czechs.
Would that be called a body check? Yes.
First pun of the championships to Ian St John. Probably the second yellow card that one deserved as well.
Deserved a yellow card, yes.
Kadlec on this near side, Niemets. And a vital figure for Portugal, number 5, Fernando Couto. Scored their winning goal against Turkey and helped to lay on one of their goals against Croatia. Rui Costa has been one of the star men in this tournament so far. And that's a foul, free kick to the Czechs. Niemeczek, the man fouled by João Pinto. Sukoparek. And the Czechs guilty of giving the ball away in the opening stages here, which is something you can't afford to do against such an accomplished passing side as Portugal. They've got it back here, though, with Babel. The layoff by Kuka. And now Niemiec. Niemiec again. Boborski making a run in the centre-forward position, but the options closed off quickly for Niemiec. Secretario, who plays for Porto. There's Kuka. And now Paulo Sousa bringing it clear. Rui Costa helping it on. Dimash on the left. Babel for the Czechs. Boborski. Horniak. And easy for Elder to clean up at the back for Portugal. Paulo Sousa. Secretario trying to pick out Sapinto, who was holding on to the defender, Sukoparek. Antonio Oliveira, who has been coach only 18 months for Portugal, and certainly has the makings here of a youthful side that I would think, if they don't make the ultimate impact in these championships, will be one to watch for the next World Cup. It's a very young squad. Paulo Sousa, the Juventus player. And João Pinto was sandwiched between two defenders then, but still kept the ball. Rui Costa. Now Elder. Great running down that left-hand side again by Rui Costa. And again, the Czechs guilty of giving it away. Niemczech's mistake this time. Oceano, Paulo Sousa. Couto. And the pattern of play established early on here, with Portugal enjoying the possession, Ian.
Well, both sides are very good, technically very good sides. They play the ball on the ground, they try to, pass it around, a bit of movement. At times, maybe they overpass, and I think we may see that tonight. Figo
being checked then by Niemiec, if you'll pardon another pun. I think it's unavoidable today. And a free kick to Portugal. Elder and Couto, the centre-backs, have both gone forward. Good defending on the near post by Horniak, and Portugal have the first corner of the game. Good run by Rui Costa, and he set up the shot for Paulo Sousa. Another corner. The majority of the Portuguese support behind the goal they're attacking here. Elder wanting it played on to the near post area this time. It's gone into the far post instead. And Dimash had his shot well blocked there by the little man Boborski. And the Czechs relieved to hear the whistle and get a free kick. They were under some pressure then. Good ball for Latau down the right. And the linesman flags. He was being held off. Free kick. Paulo Sousa, the culprit. And he wasn't too happy with that decision. Interesting free kick routine here. The Czechs have a group of 6 players, all in a little circle on the edge of the penalty box. And the header was a clear shooting, or rather scoring opportunity for Horniak.
That was a good chance. He got right underneath that and knocked it over the top. And it was, as you were saying, they had a little routine. They all got to the edge of the box, made runs various directions, and Horniak came in at the end and really gets a free header there and should have done better.
Latal. Foul on Kuka. Free kick to the Czech Republic. And they get on with it quickly. Němeček. Bit sloppy that pass by Kuka. Oh, brilliant play by Rui Costa. Now Oceano. Gets it back from Sapinto. It's a great run. And he picks out Rui Costa. Lovely football by Portugal. And it came literally to a stumbling end. But what an attack that was. And 2 players lying injured. Němec, who made the challenge for the Czechs, is the worst of the 2. He's still down, as Poborský wins the ball back for them. And the referee, I think, will have to stop play here because Němec hasn't moved since he made that tackle. He's not going to stop it now, though. Poborský on the run here, and he is fouled. And the referee wasn't too impressive, really, in that. And now he's shown another yellow card as well. Elder, the man, cautioned.
Well, Elder just fishing for the ball there. That wasn't really a foul, that I would have thought. But there was some excitement at the other end of the field, and you know, Sapinto, who was almost clear at the end of it, just a beautiful move by the Portuguese, and ended up as it stood on the ball. But the number 7 has gone down here, and he's been lying there, Němec, for some time. It looks to me as if he's got a serious injury.
Yes, he literally went into a crumpled heap and didn't move.
This was a build-up to the move, and as you see, this Sapinto stood on the ball, and both players went down, and the number 7 there trying to get to his feet there, and he must have got himself really badly hurt, because then he just crumbled and stayed there.
And some debate as to whether or not he should have had a free kick there, Portugal, as well, for that challenge. Dusan Ukrin, the coach, looks on with concern as Němec, one of the most experienced men in the squad, he's been an international for the last 8 years, goes off with what looks to be, at this stage, a pretty serious injury. Free kick to the Czechs then. Poborský will take it. Babel made a fine run to the near post, and the clearance was hardly impressive, but they managed to get away with it. And then totally overhit by Dimash. Horniak. Babel, and the whistle goes, the referee indicating the boot was raised high. The Czechs still down to 10 men at the moment. Němec lying on the stretcher receiving treatment as play goes on here with Oceano. That's a fine ball. Sapinto. Oh, great running. Vigo. Babel closed him down quickly, though, and then he trod on the ball. And Babel dangerously turning back towards his own penalty area, relieved, I think, that Sapinto knocked him down then.
He was playing a dangerous game there. You don't mess around the edge of your own box here. He was surrounded by 3 Portuguese there, and was really a lucky boy that Sapinto fouled him, if indeed he did foul him.
Terrific run down the right by Latau. Played it in, though, behind Poborski. Paulo Sousa breaking clear for the Portuguese. João Pinto. Secretario. Rui Costa. Dimash going down the left. Played into Rui Costa. Babel, the defender, very tight to him and made an excellent challenge. And here's Cuca. Portugal get it back with ease. Elder, Luciano. They're backing away here and inviting the shot. Very good effort by Luciano.
This was a cracking shot, cracking drive from as far out as that. That must have been all of a good 35 yards. I mean, straight at the keeper and too high. But I thought maybe they were going to take advantage of the fact that the Czechs were down to 10 men and not quite organised. But I see Nemec has come back on again.
The Czech Republic back to their full complement of players then. Although I must say he's running very uneasily indeed. He's not even running at the moment, just hobbling along, Niemetz. And has a big bandage around his left ankle. I wonder if he'll be able to continue for the whole game. That's a good ball from him anyway, but Schmitzer didn't quite cotton on. Great run here by Sapinto. João Pinto in the centre. They see space where other players don't seem to. Oceano also sees room for another shot. And Secretario with a good challenge there, making sure that Schmitzer got no further. But Oceano has had two long-range shooting opportunities now, and clearly I think the Czechs are going to have to make a change here because Niemetz is in trouble again.
He's trying to run it off, but that looks pretty bad, doesn't it?
Towering clearance there by Coutu. Lovely skill on the ball. Oh, dear, dear. João Pinto unceremoniously dumped there. I would have thought that was possibly worthy of a yellow card, but the referee has taken no further action, just the free kick. He took a bit of sympathy here because Niemetz is hobbling along. Coutu's free kick. It's a glorious one as well. Dimash pulling it back. Well, they certainly overplayed in that situation when a shot looked on Ian.
Well, certainly a shot across the ball, do anything, but don't give it away.
Here goes João Pinto again, and Sapinto in a great position in the middle. Couldn't quite find him. It was good defending. Sapinto keeps possession. But not for long, because his teammate rather carelessly gave it away, and now the Czechs have a free kick. Foul on Cuca. Sukopare. Niemetz surprisingly remains on the field, though he doesn't seem to be able to play much active part. Swept that one out impressively enough, but he's still hobbling. Paulo Sousa for Portugal. Figo. Oh, beautiful little layoff. Oceano on the end of it. Rui Costa now. Some of their control and interpassing is a delight to watch, though, isn't it?
Lovely little touches. You know, the build-up play is terrific, but they do get a bit casual once they get in and around the box.
Secretario. Portugal have certainly made the best start here. Can they get the breakthrough while they're on top like this? Good challenge from Honiak. Portugal have a corner. Another well-practiced routine as it's pulled back. And the header by Couto almost deceived Koba. Lovely little clip in from Oceano.
But they've worked their corner kicks rather well, haven't they? I mean, that's about 3 or 4 they've played short. And that was another good ball to Oceano. In it went, and there was big Couto, and it was not a bad header, but too straight at the keeper.
Latau. Cadlets. And now Sukopare on this near side. That's a good ball. Boborski. Schmitzer. Goal kick given. 20 minutes gone, no goals. Secretario. Dimash moving forward on the left. Back healer by João Pinto didn't come off, however, Portugal have it back again with Sapinto. And that looked like a foul by Czech. The referee has waved play on to the disgust of the Portuguese fans. Poborski stopped in his tracks. A bit of an angry reaction against Paulo Sousa. Rui Costa. Figo, who scored the opening goal against Croatia. Figo, Secretario. Paulo Sousa has Dimash on his left. João Pinto just ahead of him now. We'll play back to Rui Costa. Saw another fine run by Oceano, who's getting into some threatening positions. Breaking from the deep roll and late. He's certainly produced the best goal effort of the game so far. Well, Niemet seems against the odds to have overcome his earlier injury. And he's running a little more freely now. Paulo Sousa for Portugal. Well, the Czechs don't hang around when there's a tackle to be made. As was proved then by that wild lunge, which is surely going to produce another card for Schmitzer, and indeed has. So the man who scored the late winner against Russia at Anfield, he was the heroic figure then. Now he's in the dock, got a yellow card, and well-deserved one. Free kick count could be interesting here in this first half. Most of the fouls committed by the team in white. Here's João Pinto, that's a lovely little return ball chance here, surely. Sapinto curses as Koba produces a brilliant save. Could have been 1-0. And the Czechs retaliate quickly. But the cross by Niemet easily cut out by Dimash. Now Figo. Coutu. Secretario hits it in early, but that'll be no problem for Cadlets. But goalkeeper Koba certainly kept the scores blank here, Ian.
Oh, it was a super little ball. I mean, they're so clever when they play those delicate little balls inside the box, and that was a good effort and a good save by the keeper.
Kuka. Well, they played their way out of danger there, Portugal. Oh, lovely football. Until the two players collided, but they've still got possession. That was exemplary, wasn't it?
They're so skillful at either end of the field. I mean, they're probably one of the better footballing sides in Euro 96, so the football has just been terrific. But they do lack a cutting edge at times, and I just feel that, you know, at times they pass for the sake of passing.
I think they admit that themselves. Even one of their players, their star man, Rui Costa, was quoted as saying, if we had Jurgen Klinsmann, we'd win Euro 96.
Well, that's possible. I mean, they're going nowhere at the moment, aren't they?
Now it's Ole time. Elder. João Pinto. Good challenge. For all that into passing, they got nowhere. The Czechs have possession. But not for long. Coutu. Luciano leaves it to Figo, plays for Barcelona. Here's Secretario. Oh, a lucky deflection there for Luciano. Naughty challenge by Sepinto on Niemicek. Kuka took that one splendidly. Couldn't quite release the ball for Schmitzer. Now Coutu for Portugal. Dimash. João Pinto. Rui Costa waiting for some movement, and Oceano's made another fine run, but this time he switches play to Secretario. Elder. Too often the big central defender comes forward, but that was a splendid ball by him, and Portugal feel they should have had a free kick then. Niemec. And Bailly hasn't had much to do, makes an easy interception, but Oliveira, the coach, equally unhappy as his players were with the referee's decision then. Sapinto. It's a foul on Luciano. Niemicek, the man who committed it. Possession statistic accurately reflects the way this game has gone so far. Possession might well be 9/10 of the law, but you've got to score goals to win football matches. Secretario's cross might produce an opening here, but I think there was a little nudge then by Oceano, and the free kick's gone against him.
He certainly gets himself forward, Oceano, from his midfield position. Makes a lot of dangerous runs.
By Kuka on Coutu. It's a glorious ball. In danger here. They've got two men well placed, but the final cross was disappointing, enabling Suko Parek to get it away. Imash knows he made a mistake then. Now, the two Pintos in attendance in the penalty area, but the cross couldn't pick out either. But certainly, I think they're clearly the better side here, Portugal. It might only be a matter of time before they get that goal. As Figo goes forward, Del Pinto goes down on the edge of the box. No free kick given. Niemetz. Oh, a lovely ball. Flat out. Well, that'll enrage the Portuguese even more. That was a tackle they felt that was no worse than some of those that had gone unpunished at the other end. Free kick.
Well, Latal's been having a little bit of success. A few times he's come up that side of the field, and actually he tried to pass the ball, made a poor pass, and then it's a case of just falling over. Very fortunate to get the kick, but they've looked reasonably dangerous over with the corner kicks and the free kicks. There's been a lot of movement in the box by the Czechs, so maybe they can work something here. Maybe the only way actually they will get a goal, because they've looked very poor the rest of the game.
Taborski over the ball, Kadlec alongside him, and he leaves it to him. He looked at the back post for the other centre-back, Horniak coming in, and Portugal forced to concede the corner. It'll be the Czechs' first of the game. Elder's header. Similar routine being tried by the Czechs here to the free kick they had earlier in the match, when a group of players gather together and then suddenly spin off in different directions. Trying to cause confusion. It's sort of partly worked because they got another corner.
Well, they're certainly scattering the defenders, aren't they? I mean, they all stay together at the edge of the box, and then they make their runs in various directions, and they have the Portuguese defenders all over the place.
Better corner this time, and Portugal at full stretch to keep it out again as Taborski hammers one back in. Paulo Sousa has that same player right behind him, but kept impeccably calm. Now, an interesting break on here, but the interception by Horniak stopped it. And gaining a bit of confidence now, the Czechs. They're coming into it and showing their own passing ability a bit more.
I think they've got to try and believe in themselves a little bit more, because you know, they've only crossed the halfway line half a dozen times in the game, and they look pretty dangerous when they do that. So I think it's a case of throwing some more men forward and really having a go. See, they've lost the ball now. It's a case of everybody back in their own half of the field.
Paulo Sousa kicks out Dimash. Figo in possession. Del Pinto. Coutu. And Sao Pinto beaten by Němeček's challenge. Good tackle by Coutu. Marcianos has done as much as any with those threatening runs, but when he gives it away like that, there's a big space left behind, and perhaps Taborski can gallop into it. And he's got Kuka up in support this time as well. Oh, and he pulled it in behind this player. Instead of a teammate, he found an opponent. Secretario allowed to get away with what looked an indiscretion then. And the Czechs warming to the theme. Well, they certainly got better and better as the game in Anfield went on against Russia. And that's happening here at the moment. That's out, brought down, they have a free kick.
Yeah, Latal's been doing terrific work down that right-hand side. He's getting himself free, but this was Podborski's run. Now, this was brilliant. He held the challenge off there, went past the last defender, got to the byline, cut it back. Oh, there was a little half chance, wasn't it?
Free kick to the Czechs, the same routine again, as Podborski will take it. He's got about 6 different players to try and pick out. Spectacular header clear by Oceano has given the Czechs a corner. Sosa, meanwhile, receives treatment.
Well, the Czechs are determined to make this corner kick work because they're going to do it again, and I don't blame them. I think they might get some success.
Latal. Podborski. They've got more players forward at the moment than they've had at any stage of the game here, the Czechs. However, Horniak couldn't reach the cross, and that's a goal kick. Portugal, when it suits them, slow the game literally to walking pace. It seems that no attack is complete unless just about 8 or 9 players get a touch on the ball. Their training sessions must be interesting. The five-a-sides probably go on for days without a goal. Elder. Hugo looking for a bit of movement, gets it from Sapinto, but he's given it away. Kuka for the Czechs. Did well, played it in behind. And Portugal have it back again. Hugo. Oh, delightful ball by Rui Costa to return it to him. Sapinto, showing a bit of aggression and determination in the penalty area, has gained a corner. Cadlet's the defender who stopped him. Here you go. This is Rui Costa. Oh dear. Brilliant stuff. And another corner. Well, they can make the ball do tricks. And here's one.
He's rather fortunate to get the break of the ball there. But I like the style. I like the way that they try to take on defenders when they get in there. They really go at it, the Portuguese. But again, you know, they've flattered as of yet. I think they've only had really but one good shot on goal.
The best corner, Cadlet's with an easy clearance, but inevitably possession is retained by Portugal. Imash. João Pinto releases Sapinto down the left. And he did well to make a corner out of that. It looked as though he was going out of play anyway. But of course, Sukaparek couldn't take that risk. Another corner taken short.
I mean, he had a player wide there, Alan. All he needs to do is roll it to him and let him cross the ball, but they're always looking to take people on and show their little skills around the edge of the box.
Elder. And now Dimash. Sapinto wanted early in the box, and it wasn't a bad ball. A brave save by the goalkeeper, and the Czechs very unhappy about the challenge. But Sapinto will argue that as a forward he had to make an attempt to win that ball. How does the referee sort this one out? Certainly it's a free kick.
I think he's going to boot Sapinto here. I thought that was a ball, like yourself, I thought that was a ball he had to go for.
And it's an ominous booking because Sapinto already had a caution, and that means that if Portugal get to the semi-final, he won't be able to play, and he's a very important player for them. And clearly, not only is he injured, but he's very distressed at the thought of what might be.
See, the ball's just running away from him, and he's foot out to try and get a touch on it. I mean, he can't pull it back there. They just collide. The goalkeeper coming out. I just see it there. He's just stretching to see him get his toe to it, and they collide, and I don't see much wrong with that.
In fact, I think he was actually trying to withdraw his foot at the last second because he knew that the keeper was coming at him at speed. Well, that's a very debatable caution, and one that could prove ultimately costly for Portugal. Sukoparek to Kadlec. Niemeczek. Schmitzer a little bit late out of the blocks, and Secretario easily got there ahead of him. Elder, Paulo Sousa. Dimash. Paulo Sousa again. And that's a foul by Kuka. Oceano now. As Figo gets it back from João Pinto. That looked a dangerously high challenge as well, and it's another yellow card. Well, at least you'd say the referee is consistent, but Latau won't appreciate that fact because he is yet another of the players who now will be forced to miss the semi-final if his country get there. Remember, with 5 players on each side in the starting lineup, starting the game with a caution, that was going to be inevitable, I think.
I mean, I don't see anything wrong at all in that tackle.
Well, he's been very fussy, the German referee. Abel's clearance. Schmitzer. He's done well here, Schmitzer. That's excellent play. No support for him, though.
Well, there's certainly no support. I mean, there's a total lack of ambition, really, you know, about this Czech team. They really haven't come forward at all in the game, Alan. They just sit there. They're waiting for Portugal to make all the moves. You know, and Portugal, to be fair to them, are trying their heart out to do it, but against a team that's just quite happy to sit there in defence, it really is frustrating.
Certainly in terms of entertainment, Portugal have contributed a great deal more than their opponents so far. But the cynics will say at this level, it's all about getting a result, and it's still goalless at Villa Park. João Pinto. Foul Poborski. Czechs again decide to go backwards. It's a more adventurous ball, but Elder easily had it covered. Now Paulo Sousa. Figo. And those two combine again. And yet again.
The crowd are really getting onto the Czech team now. You know, they're whistling and doing. I mean, and I have to say, you've got to feel for the spectators tonight. Here, two teams playing to get to the semi-final of a major competition, and one of the teams has got no ambition to do it.
It turned out to be a glorious ball from Couto, but Sapinto couldn't quite get on the end of it, or João Pinto, I should say. And again, the Portuguese fans berate the Czechs for their crab-like sidewards and backwards style. Now they're going forward with Němec, and that's an excellent ball as well to Němeček. And Němeček did well to get to the byline, but it's a goal kick. The referee is making some curious decisions. Couto. Figo. Easy interception by Horniak, but he's lost out now. Paulo Sousa. Rui Costa. Tried to play the ball inside the defender, but it didn't come off. Latal couldn't go back to his goalkeeper. That route was cut off. And that's the end of a frankly disappointing first half at Villa Park. It only occasionally stuttered into life, and that was mainly due to the lack of ambition of the Czech Republic. Certainly Portugal had most of the play and the better chances. But we reach half-time without a goal. Portugal 0, Czech Republic 0. Portugal get the second half underway then, having made a change during the interval. They brought on Domingos, who scored their third goal against Croatia, having come on as a substitute in that game, and he has replaced Sapinto, who was slightly injured and certainly not in the right mental frame of mind, I think, after his first half caution, which will mean that he could not play in the semi-final if Portugal get there. Now, Domingos, a very useful player, top scorer in the Portuguese league last season, with 26 goals. Early foul there on João Pinto. Horniak. Kuka. They're doing well, but couldn't get the return ball initially anyway from Latal. Now it's crossed the line, throw into Portugal. Paulo Sousa. Figo. This is Rui Costa under pressure from Poborski. Cristiano. And that final ball has too often been disappointing by Portugal tonight. It's a game, this, I think, that desperately needs a goal to bring it to life. It's been disappointing fare so far. Elder, that's an excellent ball. Figo. And he wasn't given a moment to dwell on it. As Babel clear. Had a little throw-in routine. Figo ran into trouble though. Now Kuka. Strong on the ball, Kuka did really well. He felt he was pushed aside in the end, and the referee has upheld his appeal. Oceano protesting his innocence. I think he's got a case, the Portuguese player.
I think they were both tugging at the jerseys there. But
surely that was just a straightforward challenge.
Well, I think at the end of the day he was the stronger of the two players, wasn't he?
Exactly.
Oceano.
Referee's not having a good match.
Maybe the match deserves a referee.
Cadlets slides it out short. And chipped into Schmitzer. Schmitzer's done well here. Oh, that was an important save. In fact, I think the ball had crossed the line anyway because he's given a goal kick, but obviously Bahia in the Portuguese goal wasn't to know that. And Kuka was well placed had he pulled it across. Rui Costa plays in the Italian league for Fiorentina. And his coach there wouldn't be too happy with that ball, I'm sure. And his coach here wasn't either. Decent little downward header, sets up a rare Czech attack. Kuka, Poborski, Latau. Paulo Sousa delivers it early for Domingos. That's good defending by Sukaparek, and he's won himself a free kick. Domingos getting a bit frustrated and lashing out at him. At least that's the referee's version. Quite sure what the forward's supposed to do if the defender's shielding the ball like that. Well, the whole pace and pattern of the game hardly suggests something as important as a quarter-final here, and it's crying out for a bit of inspiration from someone. And it's certainly most likely to come from the Portuguese. However, Babel has the ball for the Czech Republic. Now Kuka, Latau. Coutu defended well. Secretario, Oceano making a run down the right for him. Rui Costa, and back again to Rui Costa. Domingos in a good position in the middle if they can get it back, but the challenge on Figo has earned them a corner instead.
Well, that was a nice move by Portugal. Good run from Rui Costa from midfield. He started the move and finished it. We need a goal desperate. Let's see if we can get one here.
That's dangerous. And João Pinto's header was an excellent attempt, but flying in at that angle, it would have been very difficult to get it on target.
Yeah, it was a tasty little header, Alan. He'd got to the near post. Little flick header there, but got underneath it.
Elder for Portugal. Still 0-0 here. João Pinto. Challenged by Latau. Nothing wrong with it, says the referee. Cadlets opens play out. On the left is Niemiec. Poborski. Poborski's done brilliantly here. A brilliant goal. A moment of genius from Poborski. And against all odds, and totally against the run of play, it's the Czech Republic who are in front. But what a classic goal. Well, Šuker's brilliant effort for Croatia against Denmark was outstanding, but so is this, Ian.
Well, he got the break of the ball, but when he got that break, he went through there, the keeper came out to get him, and he just put his foot under it, and so coolly just lifted it over the top. I mean, that was a stupendous goal. And, I mean, the game has been utterly dire, and all of a sudden it's, we get a goal of this brilliance. You can see the break he got there. And look at the goalkeeper, came out, only about 7-8 yards. Wasn't an awful lot of space behind him, but that was delightful.
And Poborski's first ever goal for his country has given them a vital breakthrough here, and that surely now will fire this game into life, and not before time. Are we to see another major upset here with Portugal, one of the most fancied teams, a goal behind? Kuka finds the scorer, Poborski again. Luciano takes it from him, but Poborski is really fired up now. Here's Schmitzer. Poborski in a good position again. Wasn't a bad effort either, the shot by Niemiec. And Portugal, for the first time in the game, really forced to defend in deep positions. But now they have it back with João Pinto. Well, that's a bad foul by Babel, who is about to receive his second caution of the competition. First of this game, of course. And he joins the growing list of players who will be unavailable now for the semi-final. And who scored the winner against Italy will play no further part in the competition, or at least not until the final, in the unlikely event that the Czechs get to that stage. Well, I say unlikely, but they're causing shocks all around here in Euro 96. They beat the Italians, they beat the Russians, and now they're beating the Portuguese with a goal that will be an immediate contender for the best in the competition. It's really fired them up. Cadlets. Latau. Coutu with the interception. The linesman flagged anyway. And Portugal get a free kick. Some urgency about the Portuguese play now. Much needed urgency. They seem to amble through the first half at times. João Pinto. Well, that's clumsy, and suddenly the game is being played in a totally different manner, Ian.
Well, it looks to me as if the Czechs have come out with a completely different attitude in the second half, and they're attacking. I thought perhaps when they got the goal, they might just lapse into, you know, even a more defensive mode than they were in the first half, but they seem to be thinking about getting a second one.
Cadlets tries to open up Portugal again with that ball for Niemiec. Secretario did well. Paulo Sousa. Well played Dimash, but equally fine challenge by Babel, and the Czechs have the ball again with Horniak. Paulo Sousa. Oh, brilliant run, and he was tripped quite deliberately by Niemiec.
but not in the opinion of a referee.
I can't believe that. Astonishing. There's Rui Costa. Domingos just held on to it too long. He gets it back surprisingly. Oh, brilliant little skill. Unfortunate that he just trod on the ball, having totally deceived the defender. Here's Latau. Kuka. He's strong, this boy. And finds Latau. Poborski's in a great position again, the goal scorer. And he was the man he was trying to pick out. Kotu deflects behind for a corner.
That was a great position for Latau to be in. All he needs to do is find the white jersey in the box, and there was a couple there. There was one at the back post completely on his own.
Oh, what a very different game we have now. Abel and Sukoparek forward for the corner. The usual posse of players spinning away in different directions. And the keeper had to reach that one because Horniak was well placed for the header. Good goalkeeping by Bahia. Now João Pinto. Figo was fouled. João Pinto. Domingos offside. Ball from Cadlets. It's a foul. How does the referee interpret that one? It's got to be a card of some colour or other. Schmitzer brought down by Secretario. It was a wild sort of kick. And it's a yellow card, I think. Confirmed. Secretario joins the growing list of cautions. They were getting up well there on the near post. Kotu just flicked it away. And João Pinto completes the clearance. Figo dispossessed, and the Czechs are a totally different side now to their, well, insipid first half. They were awful, but now they are turning on the style somewhat. Clumsy ball straight to Rui Costa, who's beaten his man brilliantly. Good work by Sukoparek. I think I'm right in saying that no team yet in these championships has come from a goal behind to actually win. So Portugal are going to have to do something special in this game to take their place, or hopeful place, in the semi-finals against France. João Pinto for them. Paulo Sousa. Domingos the target. Sukoparek with an easy clearance though. Now Nimitz. Poborski made a fine run for him. Kotu spotted it. However, the Portuguese are getting a little untidy. Unlike them, they're rattled clearly. But here's Paulo Sousa. Lovely little ball slipped to Figo. Paulo Sousa again. 4 men on the far post. Cadlets prevented the cross though. And Paulo Sousa couldn't even get a corner out of it. It's a throw only. Dimash will take it. Now Pinto beaten. And then wins it back. Here's Figo. Foul by Niemicek. Rui Costa slides it in. João Pinto with a little too much weight on the layoff, but they've still got the ball. Couto. Well, Portugal are starting to give it away. Babel. Babel's continued his run, but it's checked back to Niemiec. Now Babel gets it. Niemiec slides a lovely ball in, but offside.
They're much more imaginative now in the second half, the Czechs. You know, they're throwing men forward, they're looking to get that second goal, and it really has raised the tempo of the game, and it's given Portugal a real problem.
Rui Costa. Vingos claiming he was fouled from behind there, but the referee has waved play on. And Latal gets into a great position here. Bahia with a vital interception. Rui Costa delivers it long for Figo. It was a great ball. Figo's done well, and Cadlets did even better.
Now the door closed on him. He's looking for a penalty kick, but definitely not.
Babel, Kuka. Paulo Sousa. Figo. Tremendous run from the back by Secretario, but it's won back by Niemiec. And you have to say at the moment, the Czech Republic look more likely to get another goal than Portugal do to get an equaliser. Here's Poborski. Well, you could see the intention, but the ball didn't have enough pace. Rui Costa spreads it wide. Dinesh. Not enough movement really inside the Czech half, and Latal quite happy to belt it away. And Portugal have got to come up with a few answers quickly here. Paulo Sousa for that. João Pinto. Good tackle by Poborski. The half he's having. Kuka. And again, gets it back from Schmitzer. And was fouled. And the Czechs quite happy to take their time over the free kick. The ball is in the opposition half, and the score sheet is in their favour. Luciano is about to be substituted here. Folja, a player on in his place. Poborski lifts the free kick in dangerously. Held there with the header away. Poborski again. Position from which he scored that stunning goal, but he's lost out this time. There's a heck of a run there. He tried to get onto his own through ball.
That was a 100-yard sprint from him there.
Have to take a breather now. Portugal have a free kick. João Pinto. And again, the ball lifted forward for the substitute Folja, and there was a foul by Latal.
Well, Latal's already been booked, and he was dicing a bit there with this referee because that was a blatant obstruction.
Yes, I must say, referee group looks the kind who might well produce a red card. Now, can Portugal get something out of this free kick? Rui Costa will take it. A lot of movement inside the penalty area. Rui Costa still waits and waits. And delivers. And delivers it straight to to goalkeeper Koba. What a disappointment. Weird kick by the goalkeeper. Put a lot of sky on that one. Headed clear by Cadlets. Now Secretario leaves it to Paulo Sousa. Great run by João Pinto, and he's picked him out. Two men in the middle. But the cross never came. Good defending by Sukopare. The Czechs, not surprisingly now, have withdrawn all 11 players into their own half. Here's João Pinto. Mingosh in the centre. Goal kick, though. Abel finding Kuka. Elder, the defender, and he gets the free kick. And I think we're going to see another card. And that means that Kuka will not be able to play in the semi-final if the Czechs reach it. There's just no grey area at all with this referee. Everything is black or white.
Do they have a big enough squad with them to put a team out in the semi-final?
Well, that's I think that's now the third player on their side who will be forced to miss the semi-final. At first, their concentration has to be on retaining their lead to get there. Polya gets in the cross, but another disappointing one.
The Czechs are looking reasonably comfortable defensively. And up to this point in the second half, the Portuguese haven't really come up with anything special.
Kuka. He's done well here, and Poborski's getting forward. Now Babel. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if we see another card here. The referee sort of set his stall out from literally the first 40 seconds. And if he is going to be consistent, that has got to be worthy of another card, surely. Coutu's tackle. But he has not taken any action against the Portuguese centre-half. Another problem here for Portugal from the free kick. Cadlets over the ball. Niemetz making a little run to distract the defenders. Cadlets clips it in, and Bailly seemed a lot more confident than anyone else in Villa Park that was going wide. He was right, though. He had to be. Rui Costa. Paulo Sousa, 20 minutes remaining for Portugal to get back into this game, and they are not playing well in this half, or at least they're not decisive and creating enough chances. Oliveira's frustrated and possibly on his way out of the competition. Kuka. Ratal with a boot forward. Well, the Portuguese fans very subdued. They're not doing much to lift their team. Perhaps Rui Costa can do something to lift them here. One man too far again. Dimash. Likely to find Domingos. Babel still down injured from the earlier challenge.
Looks like a touch of cramped.
Underneath that huge kick from his goalkeeper. And Portugal, dare one say it, seem to be devoid of ideas at the moment. And we might be on the verge of one of the biggest surprises of the championships, with the Czech Republic facing the possibility of a place in the last four, something that no one, including themselves, had thought to predict. Denmark surprised us by going all the way and winning the last championships 4 years ago. I wonder. Elder. Portugal must get their act together quickly. Domingos with a glorious ball for Folja. Tal defended well and he wouldn't allow him room for the cross.
I'll tell you, he's a quick little fullback, the number 2. Very, very quick.
Folja's corner. Couture has come forward. It was aimed at him and he won the header. But goal kick.
Now Couture coming up for all the corners and nothing happening from it. You know, the longer the game goes on now, the more that the Czechs look in command of the situation. They look very cool at the back.
Clearance by Sukoparek will give Couture another problem, but he dealt with it very well. Portugal have got to find another gear now, really, and start getting in where it hurts. I have to say the Czech Republic's defence is well on top of the game at the moment. And Kadlec with a very good ball out. Schmitzer gets it back from Niemiec. And they're stretching Portugal again here. Kuka and Poborski in the middle. And Babel arriving. He went for the direct route and got nothing. Folja. João Pinto. Too deep, surely, for Domingos. And the Czechs get the throw in. Just 15 minutes to go, and we're on the verge of a major upset here. Couture taking his time, but the throw-in was good to João Pinto. Now can Paulo Sousa get Portugal moving in the right direction here? Rui Costa, too long again. And there's a bit of disharmony creeping in. One or two of the Portuguese players remonstrating with each other. And the spirit doesn't really seem to be there at the moment to get them back into the picture. Now by Kuka. And the great Eusebio watches with a very sad expression on his face his countryman's efforts here, which might end in failure because of this little fella, Poborski. And he's earned a free kick. Time running out for the Portuguese, and ominously 13 minutes on the clock. Terrible free kick by Leitão. Go-to for Portugal. It would be incorrect to say that they've hammered away at the Czech goal since they went a goal behind, because they haven't.
They've run out of ideas, actually, in the second half, and I don't know the reason for that, because in the first half they were the more imaginative team. They were the only team that really was trying to win the game. But since the goal, they seem to have gone to pieces.
Dimash. João Pinto's layoff, and it goes back again now to Rui Costa. Good tackle again. Leitão is having a really good game.
Yeah, he won't be that little fella for pace.
Goes for Schalke in the German league. Olja. And the cameraman with a neat little header. Figo. Elder. 10 of the Portuguese players camped inside the Czech half as Elder swings one in. Babel's clearance. And Niemetz slipping as he tried to release Kuka, the lone Czech player in opposition territory. Oh, that was always a 50-50 ball, and a free kick has gone against Portugal. Cadlet swinging one out towards Schmitzer, but easily won back by Secretario. There doesn't, at the moment, Ian, seem to be enough urgency about Portugal's play. There's only 10 minutes to go.
Total lack of urgency. You feel that they've almost resigned themselves to the fact that they're going to lose this one.
Folja. And the substitute bring them to life. Well, not against this little fella, he can't, because Leitão is playing as well as anyone on the pitch and was fouled by João Pinto. The eyes and the look say it all. Offside, Kuka. Rui Costa, that's a good ball. Mindos runs into trouble again, though, and how often has that happened tonight? Poborski. He's done well in the second half, but now he hits the end of the cul-de-sac. Folja for Portugal. Flying challenge by Leitão on Dimash, and Leitão is in trouble. It's his second caution of the game, and the referee went straight for the red card, and he's off.
Well, I think that's ridiculous. I really do. I mean, I don't think there was any intent to foul there at all. I think he was sliding in to get the ball, and he went to ground and just overstretched. And to miss, if they get through, to miss a semi-final, I think it's... I mean, it's terrible for this little fellow who's been outstanding tonight. He's had a terrific game. A big blow for the Czechs to lose him for the semi, if that is going to be the case.
And now Portugal are going to make a change here before the free kick can be taken. Cadet about to come on, plays for Celtic, and he will replace Figo, who hasn't made much impact tonight. Olja steps over the free kick. Paulo Sousa swings one in. It looks useful. João Pinto on the far post, but it's a goal kick. Well, it wasn't a tackle from behind. It was a sliding tackle intended to win the ball. He did catch his man, but for my money, there was no deliberate intent to foul the player. And, well, I'm not surprised. This referee's had a pretty awful match. He's cautioned 8 players and now sent one off. Fortunately, the German footballers have made a better contribution to the championships than the German referee. He was on his way to emulating the English referee, David Ellery. 10 cautions in his first game. Germany against the Czech Republic still stands as the record, and hopefully will continue to be. Elder. Oh, that's a poor layoff, and Portugal look a sorry side at the moment. Can they take advantage of the fact that the Czech Republic are down to 10 men? There are only 7 minutes to go, and Portugal, one of the most fancied teams before the competition began, are facing elimination. Folja with the cross, a poor cross. Changed by the Czechs. Schmitzer will come off. And the man who is about to take his place is Kubik, who's a defender, so that's no great surprise, is it? They've withdrawn a forward and put on a defender now to hold on to what they've got. I can't believe that Portugal haven't started to throw a few defenders forward or pick up the pace of the game. Folja for them. Can he get a decent cross in? He hasn't done yet, but that's much better effort. And what a chance that was. 2 players getting in each other's way, and that's the argument that's going on there, because I'm sure that if they'd left it to each other, or rather left it to the other there, Cadet would have had the equaliser.
Well, I mean, that was a terrific cross, and really and truly, he has got to hit the target from that position, surely. I mean, it's a free header. I mean, he's complaining about the player behind him, but I don't see that. I don't think that Dominguez was interfering in any way.
So, the Celtic man misses a golden opportunity to bring Portugal level with only 5 minutes to go. Kadlec with the free kick. Pawłowski. Dimash. Offside. Cadet. Delivers an excellent free kick onto the chest of Kuka. Just got to keep the ball now, really. That's exactly what he's trying to do, but he's done rather better than that. Kuka with a splendid run. There's a lovely ball for Cadet. Now his control is poor then. And Shinkaparek has it back. And that looked like a foul on Kubik. And Portugal have a player lying injured anyway. Carlos Sosa, who had made that lovely interception and run to get his side out of trouble initially, was obviously badly caught there. Did the referee see everything that went on, I wonder? For the first time tonight, if he did.
Yeah, it was a rather late tackle, that, wasn't it? Caught him, I think it was Kubik caught him just as he played the ball away.
Right across the bottom of his shin. That will have been very, very painful. And he looks in some trouble, doesn't he? You fear the worst at the moment. He's in agony there, and as soon as the doctor touched the injured part of his leg, he screamed with pain, obviously. What a sad sight. Carlos Sosa, the Juventus player. Just caught the bottom of his leg. Possibly an accident by Kubik, I suppose. It was his trailing leg that he hit.
Yeah, looking at it again, I don't think there was a lot of force in that.
But he's clearly in great pain, and I wouldn't think he's coming back on. Anyway, at the end of all that, a free kick to Portugal. To the Czechs, I should say. Kubik in possession for them. Having his shirt tugged there, but he still got round the challenges. Niemicek. Chance for a shot. And he panicked a little.
You could see glory there, couldn't it? All opened up for him. And he thought, I'll just have a nice little whack at this, and ended up in the top stand.
A minute to go at Villa Park, and Portugal facing elimination here. Elder, they've got to chuck the ball forward quickly. They haven't even sorted out a substitution, really. In fact, I think they've probably made all their substitutions counting back. So that's why Paulo Sousa remains on the stretcher, and they remain down to 10 men. Kuka. Oh, he did well then. He is so strong in possession now. João Pinto completely lost his cool there, and there's a card coming his way, I would think. Seems irrelevant now because I don't think they're going to be there, but he wouldn't be able to play in the semi-final because that's his second caution of the competition. And the 9th caution of the game, plus 1 red card. A statistic that does not in any way do justice to the type of game it's been. That was just sheer temper, and he's still getting involved. It was probably one of the more justifiable cautions, but there have been several that shouldn't have happened. Poborski with the free kick. João Pinto. We're into stoppage time at Villa Park. And Portugal are deeply in trouble here. They need a moment of inspiration as Follier goes forward. Secretario. It might be one of their last attacks here. And it was wasted. The crowd oohed and ahed, but in truth, Koba made a very gentle catch.
That's criminal, really, at the end of the game. You know, time running out. You've got to make sure you put the ball in there where your forwards can get it, and just you put it in the goalkeeper's hands. I mean, what a waste. A minute and a half of stoppage time has elapsed at Villa Park.
Portugal throw men forward, perhaps for one last time, as Babel gets the ball clear, and the Czech Republic, entering this competition as the Czech Republic for the first time ever, could be on their way to the semi-finals here. Němeček taking them forward. Němec. Portugal win it back, but time is against them. The referee's just had one look at his watch, and that ball was not good enough. And Portugal have not been good enough tonight. But they could still get something out of this. Horniak doing well under pressure from Domingos, however. And the whistle goes for a free kick to the Czechs, which might just be enough to see them through, although there have been a fair number of stoppages. However, we've had 2.5 minutes of added time already.
Well, if this referee's true to form, we can be here for a while yet.
Kuka. Well, I think he was just intent to get the ball in the corner there. Didn't even try and find a teammate. Because he must realise, he's probably just said to the referee, how much longer are you going to play? He must realise that we're deep into stoppage time. 3 minutes have gone. Couto has come forward now for Portugal. Here's Cadet. The Czechs hold out again, for the moment anyway. The ref's had another glance at his watch. Folja. Dimash, Folja again. They've got to get the ball forward into the penalty area. They try to do that as João Pinto goes up and has given away a free kick. And his frustration vented towards the referee, because he knows possibly now that that's it for Portugal. I'm not at all sure what the referee's up to now. I see the Czechs are about to make a time-delaying substitution. That's why he's not allowing the free kick to be taken. Patrick Berger's coming on. And the wily old coach has done this just to kill any last chance that Portugal might have had of getting back into it. Němeček coming off to a hero's reception from a handful of Portuguese supporters at Villa Park. Well, I don't know how they're going to get a full team out for the semi-final, but I would say that that's where they're going to be. They've got a number of players who won't be able to play because of 2 cautions, and indeed, of course, a red card for Letal. Well, they won't worry about that too much tonight. Cadlet's hammering it forward just to get it into Portuguese territory. On my watch, we're coming up to 5 minutes of added time. Secretario delivers the ball forward. Couto gets up. And again gets up, but a good clearance by Babel. And Kuka suddenly finds the ball at his feet. Caught between 2 stools there, whether to go for goal or just get it in the corner. He's done the professional thing, and it was right, because Elder's frustrated tackle means a free kick, but it won't matter. It's all over. First Italy, then Holland, now Portugal fall. And the Czech Republic, in their first ever championships, have astonishingly got through to the semi-finals, thanks to a quite outstanding goal by Poborski. And Ukrin, the coach, who said, I don't think we'll go any further than this, was wrong. They have. Denmark 4 years ago surprised us all to go on and win the championship. Who knows? The Czechs have caused enough upsets already, and they've won this quarter-final here at Villa Park tonight by 1-0. Well, there's only a couple of thousand of them here, but the supporters from the Czech Republic salute their heroes. And we have seen here at Villa Park tonight the continuation of one of the most astonishing stories of these championships. And now the Czechs go on to meet France in the semi-final.